There's also a character in this book.
Oh.
The one who eats people.
Was Zakayo Zebedi?
Yeah.
He eats people's eyes. Kindly. Correction.
It was eyes only.
So he takes
they
out
boiled the head.
He takes the eye out and then he forms a soup. And then he feeds it to his sons.
Yes, that's me. The unusually healthy baby, grinning from ear to ear. In a decade or two, that would change. Because for some strange reason, the overfed, content infant would decide to become a writer.
I met Franz through a mutual who was like, oh, you're a writer. I also know a writer who's a really good writer. Yeah. So then we were introduced, and then Franz sent me, what was the first book Franz sent me? Boy Child. It was really nice to see what happens in the head of a man, because a lot of times it doesn't seem like it makes sense.
Partly a product of my environment, being the youngest in a household with 4 elder siblings prompted one to stand up for themselves. The loudest baby tends to be fed first, an assertion affirmed by my experience, subtly molding me into the extrovert I'd one day become.
And I found his writing very intriguing, very intriguing. So from there on, I continued to read the books, and Franz requested that I do a review, just my thoughts on the books. And he said 200 words. Boy, did I go. I think the first one was 2,000 words, if I'm not wrong. That's how interesting every book has been. So it's been a beautiful relationship of reading Franz and reviewing Franz. And yeah, I think all the reviews are up on buyolive.com. That is my website. And you can just get a feel of what my view is on all the books. So far, I guess we're good friends. I don't know how else to describe that relationship. Yeah, we're good friends, and I'm hoping the future is that we continue working together, because I've really enjoyed this space with Kenyan writers and brilliant authors.
I can't quite recall the first book I read. However, in regard to sparking my imagination, one comes to mind: The Tales of Robert the Bruce. At the age of 6 or 7, I pored over the exploits of this rebellious Scottish king. The legend goes that exiled, huddled in a dark cave, and on the verge of defeat by the English, he contemplated surrender. There, he noticed a small spider attempting to weave a web. The spider tried and failed over and over again. In spite of failure, it climbed up to try again. Finally, on its 7th attempt, the spider's silk took hold, and the web was spun. On witnessing this tenacious display, it's believed that Robert was sufficiently inspired to get back into the fray. In the fields of Bannockburn, in the year of our Lord 1314, he and his men fought like warrior poets, fought like Scotsmen, and won their freedom. Forgive the Braveheart analogy, I couldn't help myself. This tale, however, whether fact or fiction, struck a deep chord and would see me through some very difficult times in the future.
I read Boy Child first. Is it your first book?
I know, Boy Child was number 10.
Number 10.
I wrote Boy Child during COVID, just before I turned 30. Yeah, that was number 10.
So what was your first book?
So Trials of Chepundor was written during my foray as a village doctor in a town called Olmoran in Laikipia County, where I encountered ethnic tensions, cattle rustling, and I witnessed firsthand what the nomadic woman goes through. And I had to immortalize her experience and her struggle. So during the evenings, after hectic days of work, I scribbled away, and this play was born. These leaflets are short stories that comprise my short story collection called The Chief Must Die. I'll take you through 3 of them. This is a short story called Ground to Dust, in which I elaborate on the impact of post-election violence. I feel like if we not learn from history, we are bound to repeat it. And it's a story of a family stuck in the Rift Valley. A family from the wrong side of the tracks in the wrong community, trying to find their way. And this is another short story in the collection called An Uncertain Destination, a retelling of the 1982 coup in Kenya and the repression that came afterwards. This is a short story called Kamikaze Misdirect, and it elaborates on modern day terrorism and its impact in Africa. This is a short story called Man Enough, and of course maybe it foreshadowed my book Boy Child. So it's about university student trying to grapple with his inadequacies and really try to get to the root of what manhood means. Then The Chief Must Die itself, the retelling of the tale of Luanda Magere. This is where Banda's War was written, and I wrote this book at the age of 22 as a second year medical student. And it's a story involving angels, demons, and men, and the precarious path to redemption.
Enthralled by fables of valor, I confronted my father. Are there heroes who look like us? Meaning? He replied indulgently. Race and tribe were constructs my fledgling mind had yet to conceptualize. Thankfully, he perceptively caught my drift. On our next visit up country, my grandmothers regaled my siblings and I with legends and folklore from our tribe, the likes of the invincible Luanda Magere, a warrior revered by the Luo people, like no other, and the cunning, resourceful Gor Mahia. I hung on the elderly women's every word. I didn't know it then, but I was empowered to one day tell our stories from our point of view. But that would have to wait. Another insane idea possessed me. 13 years later, I decided to become a doctor. Exhausted and disillusioned, I floundered through medical school. After an underwhelming party, I was coerced to attend to blow off steam. Achieving the opposite, I hobbled back to my hostel. I was a second-year student at the University of Nairobi by then. I wanted more from life than it had to offer. Young, broke, and wading through manhood alone, I needed to channel my frustration productively. My peers dealt with the existential crisis the only way they knew how, drowning themselves in alcohol and frolicking in meaningless flings. I can hardly claim to be superior. Like I said earlier, living in the Lord's care on the stipend of a church mouse didn't make one attractive. No one seemed to want me, and in some strange way, I figure, I didn't want myself. Were there other young men, like me, suffering in silence, wilting in inadequacy? That very night, I scribbled 2 chapters in rage. The following morning, I approached the topic with a sober mind and realized I was on to something. A month later, I completed my first play, A Silent Epiphany. To most authors, your first book holds a special place in your heart, a symbol of progress, an indication you are finally becoming. I set an ambitious goal thereafter, to write 10 books before I turned 30. Quite achievable, I presumed, since at the time, 30 seemed like a lifetime away.
So some would say writing is joyful, but once you get to a certain point, writing becomes work. It's literally clinical. You wake up, you carve out time, you read, you research, you write drafts, you edit, you re-edit, and do it all over again. So going to a point where writing gives me purpose, but at the same time, I take it as seriously as a day job.
The process of writing must be horrid, I would believe. I've never had a writer who's written a book in less than a year. Oh, except Franz, I think maybe. No, even him. He told me some of his books took like 2-3 years. So I think just like any other art, it literally takes a part of you. Authors are artists, and I will say it takes a part of you. So I'm guessing it's a lot of, it's very intense. I would say it's intense also emotionally. I'm guessing these are the old school writers who are not using AI, the ones who have chosen the path of the gift they've been given. Yes, I believe it's not easy. So to see a writer put out books consistently, that means they're really giving you all they have. They're giving you a part of themselves throughout. I don't think it's easy, so I really, really appreciate writers. My love from me to you.
Indeed, one book was commendable, but could I do it again? Without consistency, was I a fraud? Had I truly achieved mastery? The only way to prove it wasn't a fluke, was to do it again. While in 3rd year medical school, my mother and younger brother were locked in a heated debate. One fine evening, the dispute revolving around the nature of redemption. According to her, humans and fallen angels were held to different standards, and forgiveness could only be extended to those in the lineage of Adam and Eve. My brother and I played the devil's advocate and argued strongly for everyone's right to redemption, however irredeemable their pasts. Free will, predeterminism, and everything in between was superficially discussed, thus sparking my second play, Banned as War. While in my final year at medical school, I had a profound experience during my psychiatry rotation. At Mathare Mental Hospital, I bumped into an old acquaintance from high school, one of the most promising students who, due to his exemplary performance on his SATs and secondary school exam, was offered a full scholarship at an American Ivy League university. He returned to the motherland a cocaine addict, suffering from depression, with little to any prospects, and a patient in the mental hospital to boot. What were the circumstances underlying his fall from grace? What could have dimmed such a bright star? Was addiction really a disease, or simply a wanton lack of self-control, as some claimed? Were genetics predominant, or the rough tides of life responsible for developing mental illness? This greatly sparked my interest in mental health, and following my graduation, I wrote my third play, Chasing After Unicorns, to explore these issues.
Oh, it was the eyes.
It was the eyes specifically. Yes. Zakayo Zebedi. Baron Zakayo Zebedi.
Okay, and why did you include what's his name? Kasmel Makru.
Man, I was writing during that time of the Gen Z protests, and I was like, not by the. This looks like a promising revolutionary till he sold out. Till he sold out. But then again, now I can't change the characters now.
So is it because that's why he died in the book? Is it because he sold us out in real life? That's why he died in the book.
You see, you can't become a legend unless you're dead. So he had to die. It was inevitable. You had to become a martyr. No way out.
But that reminded me of. You remember the guy from Nini? What is it called? Visions of Chrysalis.
Which one? I remember him. I remember Hassan Ali's brother.
Hassan Ali, the one who converted to
Islam from Christianity.
Yes.
And then he was executed.
Yes.
He was lit into a flame.
That's
and then the conquest of bread began.
Yes. That's what reminded me. That scene reminded me of.
But at least he believed in something. Kazmuel, God. Oh Lord.
And I think it was also intentional that you made him head of clones.
Who?
Kazmel.
Really?
Yeah. He could have been head of anything. But you said the clothes, who are technically the slaves.
You're reading too much into this. I'm reading too much into this.
I'm the reader.
Oh,
you can't
you're allowed to.
Okay. Author is the best yet, in my opinion. I had one who was my favorite before Franz came along, but now it's him holding that position, and it's been so, as he's the second favorite book I have read in the world, coming second after Trilogy of Shiva, and that is Visions of Chrysalis, which is now fighting with Triad of Nin, because my mind has been blown. But I would say Franz is currently my favorite Kenyan author, worldwide author.
An intern is a doctor in name, lacking substance. A detail condescendingly drummed into every fresh graduate on the arduous journey of acquiring a medical license. The journey can be likened to being a standing Baba. These are Hindu devotees who vow to stand and not sit for a number of years, and sometimes the rest of their lives. Their commitment goes as far as sleeping standing, using a sling that keeps their torso upright. The vow, a form of self-inflicted punishment that strives to bring out spiritual enlightenment. Several parallels can be drawn to the field of medicine. I've been through the pain. The enlightenment proves elusive. All in all, I elected to convert my pain into power by cataloging my experiences for posterity. Thus my fourth book was born, April to April, The Journal of a Young Doctor. I think the future of African literature is self-publishing. We all have stories to tell. However, for a long period of time, it has been constrained to the limits of traditional publishing, who have excessive editorial control, and also in terms of enumeration, sometimes they might stifle an author, but on top of that also they might limit creativity. So if you have a story to tell,
and you feel passionate about it, and you want to express yourself in your own way, in your own terms, I don't think anyone can do it better than you. Who can tell my story better than me? So with that in mind, I think a lot of authors are going to go their own way.
I hope the future of Wondrous Path looks like a home for, I think I'd call it alternative authors, where the culture that we've had in Kenya for so long is that books are associated to education. So if you see even what publishers require of authors is a lot more education leaning, like what we have in the syllabus in school. But with Wondrous Path, the books I've read are very innovative. We're coloring outside the lines. So I'm hoping that will be the future, that more and more authors adopt this type of, let's color outside the lines. We don't have to use the English that we were taught. We don't have to structure sentences exactly how we were taught by the white man. So yeah, I'm hoping for that, so that we see more creativity. I feel like it will be a home for more creatives who are authors. Yes, that would be my dream.
As an intern rotating through the Department of Surgery, I crossed paths with a young man, barely 17, hardly in the full bloom of youth, yet saddled with an ominous diagnosis: cancer, osteosarcoma to be exact. I was responsible for preparing and administering his chemotherapy, courses intended to shrink the bone tumor. Despite our best efforts, he'd have to lose the leg. Though he endured the suffering stoically, the above-knee amputation performed to reduce the risk of metastasis was the straw that broke the camel's back. I witnessed a gradual decline, not only in his body, but also spirit. By then, he'd lost weight, the hair on his scalp had fallen off, leaving mangy patches, and his soul seemed visibly in despair. I offered empty platitudes to induce hope, but was rendered speechless by his response. "I'm already half a man," he sighed, while pointing at his healing stamp. "Does this mean I have to live half a life?" Was there truly meaning to suffering? Could men overcome overwhelming odds in the quest for normality amidst devastating loss? As was my norm, I withdrew into myself and penned my first novella, Dreams of Better Days, a book that foreshadowed personal tragedy years to come.
Did you ever think that you would be seeing your own books stocked like that?
Dream come true. It's like asking a parent who their favorite child is. That's an unfair question. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite. However, each book is special for its own reasons. If I can take you through, Boy Child is special because it helped me confront my childhood trauma and questions about manhood that I was uncertain about. Heart of a Prince is special because it made me understand the nature of power and why men are drawn to it and why they sell their souls in the process. Trials of Chepundor is special and important because it made me see the world through the eyes of a woman and understand how vulnerable they can be. and how unfair society can be to them. Banda's War is special because it gave me a glimpse into the nature of what it feels like to be a god, to be all-powerful, and to have creatures that don't understand you, however much they might owe you, even if it's their very existence. Visions of Chrysalis is important because it made me research and delve into the fallacy of equality. Can men truly be equal? Or is it a pipe dream? And on top of that, Halfway to Damascus by George Gadiani is special because it immortalizes my journey so far, as a doctor, as a man, as a brother, as a son, and as an individual aspiring. So it's a tribute to me before my next 35 years. Maybe another one will be written.
I guess I come in much later. So we're here at Shiftai Gallery in Nairobi, preparing for the 2026 WPP Short Story Award. I don't know how else to tell you. It's been an amazing journey seeing how far WPP has come over the last few years. From one young man in the semi-desert writing his first real literature in an A4 book by hand to digitally submitted short stories, close to 100 from across the country and even from across the continent. Who knows what WPP will get up to in the future, but it strongly suggests, everything strongly suggests, it's going to be quite the bright future for the wandering writer. See you on the other side.